Hello, Mallards. It is Thursday. I did some work outside, so I am freshly showered. I have another round of auditions tonight. But before any of that happens, I'm going to watch She-Hulk. Woohoo! All right, yes, hello, welcome to The Darkness. It's been a while. I watched the episode and then I had auditions and then I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally do this before the sun sets. Wow, what a lie. Did not get to this before the sunset. But I do have my notes. So let's dive right into She-Hulk episode 1. We're going to start with, I really loved this. I knew that I would. I think that Tatiana Maslany is amazing. She's very talented. I'm always excited to see her in a show. And so I was ready for this. I also don't know Jen Walters particularly well, but the bits that I do know, I really enjoy. I know that she tends to be a spicier character and that also she does the fourth wall break. And I think actually did it first. So like Deadpool's pretty known for it, but Jen Walters is the originator. And I also know that like her character is a little bit more sassy, and I have seen her encounters with several other characters that I like, and I have really enjoyed every time her character comes up. So I was pumped for this show, and it has not let me down yet. My first note, though, is unrelated to She-Hulk. It is that this time I saw Yelena and Mighty Thor and Ms. Marvel and Shang-Chi all in the Marvel logo. As well as Moon Knight, who I had seen previously. I still don't see Kate there, though. So if you are like a frame-by-frame sort of person and Kate Bishop is in that Marvel logo montage, please let me know. Because I have been actively looking for her and have not seen her. And that is a shame. Less than 3 minutes in and we get a classic She-Hulk fourth wall break, and I loved it. I especially loved that this one was like big. It wasn't a subtle little fourth wall break. It wasn't like a looking at the camera sort of thing. It was, hang on, let me go back to the office and directly address you guys and listen. I do need to tell you what happened. So let me go back and tell you how this came to be. How did I become the amazing Jennifer Walters that I am today? And I loved that. And then it was just really nice to see Bruce. I like Bruce Banner in the MCU. He's lovely, and I feel like he has been, well, because like Mark Ruffalo obviously didn't star in the Incredible Hulk film that's technically part of the MCU, and I have nothing against Edward Norton's performance. I think he does a great job, but I love Mark Ruffalo, and I feel like we don't get enough of him, so I was thrilled that he played such a major part, and I knew that he would, but it was still nice to see him play such a major part in this particular episode. So that was really, really, really nice and really funny. And I liked his information. And then the Captain America conversation where he was like, all you're doing is repeating everything I've told you about my friend and colleague, cracked me up. Like, what a classic line. And also I can just imagine this exhausting conversation that they're constantly having. And that Jen's like, well, obviously Captain America was a virgin. Jen, I love you. And I will say that repeatedly. That's in these notes a lot. You are spicy, but also the Stucky shipper inside of my heart was like, I don't know. You don't know that. I'm just saying, you're really limiting yourself to these women that he encountered. Just putting it out there. Obviously, I know that MCU Steve Rogers is with Peggy and is straight, probably. Or like didn't have a romantic relationship with Bucky, as far as we know. But that doesn't stop me from shipping it in my heart. I can recognize two realities at once. There is a multiverse. Just putting it out there. I was not even a little worried about the crash because this is a flashback. I was a little like, aliens, interesting. Wonder if that'll ever come up again. Probably not. It's probably a tease for the far future, for future Hulk to deal with, and maybe She-Hulk, but not necessarily something we'll care about in this series, but we'll see. Could happen. I'm pretty sure that in the comics, and don't quote me on this, but also let me know in the comments if you know the truth, that Bruce like made a conscious decision to donate his blood because Jennifer was dying and like knew the repercussions, but like it had to happen. And so I think it's kind of interesting that in this, he just like bleeds on her and she gets infected. It also led me on this whole tangent where I was like, I feel like I need to rewatch every Marvel film and see if Bruce Banner bleeds at any point in time. And when he's bleeding, does he ever bleed on anybody else? And like, is that a danger? Would it happen to anybody, or is it because he and Jen are related that this happens? Would instead the gamma radiation levels of his blood like maybe kill other people? I don't know. I don't know. And I didn't spend the time tonight rewatching all of the MCU to find out. So if you do know the answer, let me know. I assume he bled around Thor. They like fought in a, and the Hulk, but maybe the Hulk and his blood is different. I don't know. Now I'm just thinking a lot about Sakaar and how many other Hulks, maybe that's how World War Hulk happens, is that there are just all these other Hulks running around because he was fighting in Sakaar and he was bleeding everywhere and he just like didn't realize he'd created a whole bunch of Hulks. I'm just spitballing here. Don't trust me on any of this. My next note is, oh man, I love these QR codes. So if you scan the QR code that you see next to Jen when she goes into the bar, you can get Savage She-Hulk #1. I adore that this is something that Marvel is doing, that they're like adding the QR codes and giving people comics so you get context, not just for the character, but specifically for storylines, for connections that the creators of this particular series think are important. And I think it's cool to have those touchstones. So I really, really liked that. And then the gaggle of public bathroom women are everything to me. Like, everything. They're everything. They walk in, they see her all beat up, and immediately just go into, okay, like, let's get her fixed up. Let's find her some shoes. Let's clean up her face. Let's make sure that she's okay. We need to get her a phone so that she can get back home. We need to make sure that she's got transportation. We're also going to tell her that whatever happened to her, whoever did this, she does not need him, her, or them. And listen, Marvel, saying him, her, or them is not enough representation, but that doesn't make even this tiny little baby step not appreciated. It's just that you should be able to do more. You are Marvel. I'm just throwing that out there. But I did like that they didn't make any assumptions about Jen's choice in partner. And then my next note says, I don't know, Bruce, maybe you should have let her attack those guys. Because, like, they kind of deserved a little bit of a thrashing. And I stand by that. Violence is not always the answer, but sometimes it is a solution. Oh, and then she wakes up to a Led Zeppelin shirt, and I said, this feels like a Tony touchstone. Like, are we in some place of Tony's? The Led Zeppelin of it all just feels very Tony. And then she goes downstairs and she finds Smart Hulk, because apparently he's called Smart Hulk. He's Professor Hulk in the comics. But I really like, he's like, yeah, Smart Hulk. I didn't choose the name. It just happened, which I thought was funny. But then we do find out that Tony did build this place. He built a lab for Bruce, a place for him to like connect with Hulk during the snap and like create Smart Hulk. And also, that's so cute. And I am not a Science Bros shipper, which are people who ship Bruce Banner and Tony Stark. But I bet that Science Bros shippers were just like, oh, thank you for this gift. This is so sweet. And it was really sweet. It gets sweeter. We'll get there. But man, I was like, wow. It's really nice to see, because we see like a little bit of their connection in Ultron, right? And we see them like talking to each other. It's clear that they get along. But it's nice to see that even during the snap, when Tony was like building his new life with Pepper and like having a kid and like all of the Morgan stuff and like everything that moved forward, that he still was actively engaged with some of the Avengers. Like that he still was taking the time to spend time with Bruce and help him build this lab and like ensure that he and Hulk could meld. And I really liked that. And I really liked the moment where he was like, Tony kept being like, it's on loan, and he was going to come back and take it. My heart. Wow. Apparently, it was a ship from Sakaar. So now I'm back on my World War Hulk theory. He made a bunch of Hulks by bleeding in Sakaar, and they're coming for him. And then I literally said, I wonder if we'll revisit this in this show. Or is it a future Hulk problem? It's probably a future Hulk problem. The set of lines where Jen's like, because I'm better than you. And Bruce goes, it's basically different. She goes, but in a better way. Hilarious. I love their dynamic. Completely unrelated to that. Obviously unrelated to that. I really miss my brother. Yeah. Those are two totally unrelated thoughts. Completely not at all together. But wow, I did watch that whole scene and go, I really need to text my brother. And then I did it. I sent him a message to tell him that I was watching She-Hulk, and then I missed him. And then I said, listen, I know that Smart Hulk is cool and all that, but like, I like Bruce. Can we just have Bruce? I like Mark Ruffalo as a human. I like Bruce as a human. But instead, just have Smart Hulk, which is fine. I like Smart Hulk. He's also played by Mark Ruffalo, but like, sometimes I just miss regular old Bruce. And then I wrote, wow, an Inside Out reference. Do you think Marvel's owned by Disney, guys? Check yes or no. I also really love Jen's attitude about the anger and the fear and like her frank conversation about being a woman. So when he's like, the triggers are anger and fear, and she says, those are like the baseline of a woman existing. Like, she's not wrong. That's very true. And so I love, she has that conversation. And then she also has a conversation later where he's like, you need to learn to control your anger. And she says, I do control my anger. I control my anger all the time. I control my anger when I'm catcalled on the street, when a man tries to explain my area of expertise for me. I am controlling my anger infinitely more often than you are. And chef's kiss, what a great speech. Like, Jen is a lawyer, should be good at speaking. It's just really nice to see it come through like that. It was so good. I also really liked when she, regarding the lullaby, that Bruce was like, I don't really have a great explanation for that. And I was like, us either, Bruce. Really, us either. Like, none of us know. The whole of everybody was like, this is how we're calming down the Hulk. I mean, okay, we're gonna accept it, but like, it was a thing that happened once in a film. I also said, "Aw, Bruce, is it weird to say that it's nice to see your trauma?" Because I feel like I'm really glad that Bruce has an opportunity as a character to like say some stuff and unload some stuff, because he's just been part of these larger films and hasn't really had a chance to talk about or work through anything except being angry as the Hulk in Ragnarok. But even that was Thor's film that he just happened to have a part in. But Jen really does like go for the jugular a lot about Bruce and his trauma. Like, her whole rant about him being alone, like he has no friends and he just lives here alone and he avoids people and doesn't handle his trauma. And I was like, you're not wrong, but you're also really like going hard. What a lawyer. I also really love that Jen was like, I'm not gonna be a superhero. I'm a lawyer. Like, I worked hard for that. I've spent years of my life and so much money going through law school and working my way to a law firm and getting these cases. Like, I'm a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be a superhero. And I love that for her. Also, like, why can't it be both? Tony was so many things. He was Iron Man and also a billionaire playboy philanthropist. So, like, you can be more than one thing. I'm just saying. Also would have really helped Sam out if he'd had a job that wasn't Falcon. Might have been able to get a loan. I mean, no, because racism, but like, just throwing it out there. I really loved the anything you can do, I can do better montage, where Bruce is just showing her all of these things and then Jen is infinitely better at all of them. Loved it. Beautifully done. Really, really fun. And now we get to the other Science Bros bit where I wrote, excuse me, they have initials carved into a bar. Like, I am not a Science Bros shipper, but the people who are must be losing their minds to see the like TS and BB just like carved into the bar next to each other. It is not meant to be romantically coded at all. And I don't think that any of that information would be considered queer baiting, which like Marvel has done, but this I would not qualify as that. But it definitely is fodder for screenshots for all the Science Bros who are, and to make fan vids and all that. And I can like see the wheels turning as a person who ships non-canonical ships, even though I don't ship that one. So I loved that. I thought it was great. And then they fight it out because they needed to. It was really important to, as Hulks, just let that anger and aggression go. And then they destroyed the bar, which was sad, but rebuilding it, like, is what they needed. And I thought that that whole bit was really good. However, I will say that the fourth wall double take that takes place in that scene is less cute than it was in the trailer because she already did a big fourth wall break at top of show. So when she does that like glance and then does like a, I mean, obviously I'm looking at you the whole time. So imagine that I'm actually looking at the character and then she goes, he didn't say that. Like, is really cute in the trailer and was just like, why are you surprised by this, Jen? You already broke the fourth wall with us earlier. Like, we're just in the middle of a fourth wall break right now. It just didn't come across as cute as it did in the trailer when it like comes after the big fourth wall break in the beginning. And then my next note says that there's literally just a woman casually sketching in the courtroom. Like, is that a thing? Is that a thing that happens, guys? Are there courtroom sketch artists? Somebody should let me know. And then the cool fight, which was nice. It was nice to watch Jen perform. I really loved that she turned into She-Hulk, beat up the villain, and then transformed back and was like, all right, I'm ready to give my closing argument. Beautiful, golden. Then we went into credits, which were really fun. I really liked the like chalkboard, is Captain America a virgin, like drawing, and the way that that was all laid out. I thought that was really funny. I do want to point out that there was a very clear picture of Peggy Carter and a very clear image of a USO girl, but there was not a Sharon Carter image. Maybe somebody regrets Sharon Carter. And there was another picture that like could be anything. And in my Stucky heart is Stucky. And I also really liked that in the credit sketches, Jen was on a Tinder app because like She-Hulk going on dates is a big part in the comics. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that here in the show. And then the post credits made me laugh so hard. Like Jen's just asking all of the tough questions. That's what she's here for. So yeah, those are my thoughts. That's what my life is like. Let me know what you thought of She-Hulk if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you watched this video, but let me know what you thought of my thoughts, and I'll see you tomorrow.